Welcome back to my channel, children. So in my last video I described water shuttle systems. Now this video we will continue with oxidative phosphorylation and synthesis of ATP and about balance sheet of aerobic respiration. So let us see what is oxidative phosphorylation. We already discussed what is photophosphorylation and explained by chemiosmotic mechanism, which is given by Peter Michel. And it is synthesis of ATP from ADP and inorganic phosphate from the energy utilized during oxidation reduction reactions. That's why this is called oxidative phosphorylation. In photosynthesis, it is called as a photophosphorylation because the energy used there is light energy. Here the energy used is because of oxidation reduction reactions. So here oxidative phosphorylation in the electron transport chain we already discussed. The oxidative phosphorylation mainly operates because of proton motive force or a proton gradient. Proton gradient is created, or this is also called as a proton motive force. It is also called proton motive force. So a proton gradient is created in the inner membrane, intermembrane space. In the intermembrane space, the diagrammatically, if we take, this is the in the inner membrane or in the intermembrane space. So this is towards the fifth complex. It is a fifth complex consisting of F0, F1, and this is towards the inner membrane. This is inner membrane and this is intermembrane space. This is called as a intermembrane space. So a proton gradient is created here. Here we find different complexes. Complex 1, and then we find here complex 3. This I already have given you in detail. And here we find complex 2 and then complex 4. In between these we find ubiquinone, a mobile carrier. We find ubiquinone in between these. This ubiquinone will actually transport electrons. They are mobile carriers. And when electrons are moving, we find through first complex, 4 protons. So suppose this is a first complex. Through first complex, 4 protons enter into intermembrane space. Similarly, through third complex also another 4 protons, and through fourth complex 2 protons. This takes place when NADH2 is getting oxidized to NAD. Suppose FADH2 is getting oxidized, FADH2 gets oxidized through second complex. So here we find there is accumulation of 6 protons, whereas for NADH2 there is accumulation of 10 protons. So these protons must pass through F0, F1. For every 2 protons, there is a synthesis of ATP molecule from ADP and inorganic phosphate. This is what is chemiosmosis osmotic mechanism. So this takes place through F0, F1. So if we go through the detail of F0, F1 complex, this is the inner membrane and this part, so let me represent, this is the basal portion, stalk portion of F0 complex, basal and the stalk portion, and this is the head portion. Head portion is F1. This is called F0. Head portion is F1 and F0. Already all this we discussed in case of chemiosmotic mechanism. So F0 is the proton transport channel. It helps in transport of proton. It is a membrane protein and this helps in transport of protons. F1 is the actual site for ATP synthesis. From ADP and inorganic phosphate, ATP is synthesized. It projects into the matrix. This is the membrane. It is the membrane. It projects into the matrix. And this is intermembrane space towards the inner side. This is the inner membrane. This is intermembrane space. This side is called intermembrane space. And the protons, as I have given in this diagram, the protons must move through from intermembrane space towards the matrix. So for movement of every 2 protons across this, for movement of every 2 protons, if every 2 protons have to move from here, from intermembrane space towards the matrix, there is a formation of 1 ATP molecule. This is what is called as a chemiosmotic mechanism and oxidative phosphorylation for synthesis of ATP. Now, for NADH2, which is formed, since every 2 protons there is synthesis of ATP. Now, for NADH2, let us give how the ATP synthesis occurs. For NADH2 formed in matrix, NADH2 formed in matrix, each NADH2, 3 ATP will be formed. For each NADH2, 3 ATP will be formed. And for each FADH2, 2 ATP will be formed. Each NADH2, 3 ATP and each FADH2, 2 ATP will be formed. Now, let us now give in a tabular form what is the balance sheet of aerobic respiration and what happens and what is the total number of ATP formed. So, we know starting from glycolysis. Glycolysis also there is an NADH2 formed. So, from glycolysis, Krebs cycle and oxidative decarboxylation. Oxidative decarboxylation of pyruvic acid. So, in these 3, let us see how it takes place. So, first let me start with the glycolysis. So, let us write it as balance sheet of aerobic respiration. Balance sheet of aerobic respiration. Balance sheet of aerobic respiration. So now let us see how you can write the balance sheet. So first let us see in glycolysis. Glycolysis, let us take first how many NADH2 are formed in glycolysis. How many NADH2? So, we can take here for glycolysis malate aspartate shuttle, because there are 2 shuttle systems operating here, and glycerol phosphate shuttle. 2 types of shuttle systems we can take. And how is the ATP formed? So in glycolysis, number of NADH2 formed will be 2 NADH2. 2 NADH2 are formed in glycolysis. So if it is malate aspartate, we can take 2NADH2 into 3 ATP. That means total of 6 ATP will be formed. Total of 6 ATP will be formed. If it is glyceraldehyde phosphate shuttle, glyceraldehyde 1 NADH2, we take how many? 3 ATP. So here 2 NADH2 are formed. 2 NADH2. 1 NADH2 we take 3. So 2 NADH2 means here we'll take 6 ATP. And G3P, each NADH2 here will form only 2 ATP because it is converted as FADH2. So here 2 NADH2 into 2 ATP, that is equal to 4 ATP. And in glycolysis, we also find there is formation of direct ATP. 2 ATP are formed during substrate level phosphorylation. 2 ATP are formed. Substrate level phosphorylation. So, if it is malate aspartate, if we add 2 ATP here, a total of 8 ATP we are going to get at the end of glycolysis. If it is G3P shuttle operating, if we add 2 ATP here from substrate level phosphorylation, we can get a total of 6 ATP. This is with respect to glycolysis, the balance sheet of ATP with respect to glycolysis. Now, let us take in case of oxidative decarboxylation of pyruvic acid, or it is link reaction. So, in link reaction, we find 2 NADH2 are formed. Here children, you have to know what is exactly the link reaction. Similarly, in glycolysis, which reaction NADH2 is formed. I hope you know in which reaction NADH2 is formed here. NADH2 is formed during oxidation of G3P to 1,3-bisphosphoglyceric acid. And there is one substrate level phosphorylation also. 2 places there is a substrate level phosphorylation. So, net yield will be 2 ATP formed because 2 are consumed there and 2 are net. So, that's how we will write 2 ATP here and 8, total of 8 ATP and 6 ATP. Now, 2 NADH2 formed in link reaction. In link reaction, we find 2 NADH2 are formed and it is taking place, link reaction is taking place in the matrix. It is taking place in the matrix. So, this 2 NADH2 in the matrix will give rise to 2 into 3, that is equal to 6 ATP. 2 into 3, that is due to link reaction 6 ATP are formed. Now, let us see in Krebs cycle how many are formed, how many ATP. Let us now list down. In case of Krebs cycle. So, in Krebs cycle we find the number of NADH2 formed will be, so here 2 turns of Krebs cycle we have to take. 2 turns of Krebs cycle. So, number of NADH2 formed will be 6. This is equal to 6 into 3, that is 18 ATP. FADH2 formed will be 2, that is 2 into 2, that is equal to 4 ATP. Because 1 FADH2 will give 2 ATP, 1 NADH2 will give 3 ATP. So, FADH2 4 ATP. So, 18 ATP from NADH2 and from FADH2 4 ATP. And there is substrate level phosphorylation also. Here directly 2 ATP will be formed. 2 ATP will be formed. So total we have 24 ATP molecule. From 2 turns of Krebs cycle, we have 24 ATP molecules. Now, if we summarize all this, glycolysis we have, if it is malate aspartate shuttle, we have 8 ATP. If it is glycerol phosphate shuttle, we have 6 ATP. Then in link reaction, we have 6 ATP. In link reaction, we have 6 ATP. And in Krebs cycle, we have a total of 24 ATP. In Krebs cycle, we have a 24 ATP. Now, if we shall total it up, if it is malate aspartate, we are getting 38 ATP. If it is G3P shuttle, or malate aspartate shuttle, G3P shuttle, we are getting 36 ATP. So that's how during aerobic respiration of 1 glucose, we get either 38 or 36 ATP. This is called as a balance sheet of aerobic respiration. Now, what are the energetics or how efficient the aerobic respiration is? So, we can now calculate what is the efficiency of aerobic respiration. Efficiency of aerobic respiration. So we know as a result of aerobic respiration, either 36 or 38 ATP are formed, and total energy in glucose, total energy in 1 glucose molecule is equal to 686 kilocalories. Total energy in 1 glucose is 686 kilocalories. Suppose we take the most common type 36 ATP. 1 ATP is equal to 7.6 kilocalories of energy. So 36 ATP will give 36 into 7.6. 36 into 7.6. This gives around 288 point, around that you can calculate. It is around 288.7. Now, we know if we calculate the percentage 686 and 288, we get about 40%. Approximately we get 40%. So that means aerobic respiration is only 40% efficient. Aerobic respiration is only 40% efficient. So when do we get that complete 686 kilocalories? We can get 686 kilocalories of energy when glucose undergoes chemical oxidation. That means when it is completely burnt, when it undergoes chemical oxidation. Another calculation, if we take another calculation, 1 ATP equal to about 34 kilojoules of energy. In joules if we take, it comes to 34 kilojoules of energy. Suppose we take 38 ATP molecules. So you can multiply 38 into 34. So this gives around 1292 kilojoules of energy. 1292 kilojoules of energy. but the total energy of glucose, total energy present in glucose is about 2870 kilojoules. So this also gives around 45% efficiency. That means you can calculate 1292 divided by 2870 into 100. This if you take, you get around 45% efficient. That means aerobic respiration is 40 to 45% efficient. This is called as energetics of aerobic respiration. So here we have some numericals also. Want you to go through this sheet, balance sheet. So I hope you have gone through all the balance sheet and energetics. So now let us conclude here. I will conclude the topic here. So in my next session, I'll be discussing about few numericals related to the balance sheet. So by that time, I hope you should go through it clearly and try to understand it. So we will try to discuss few numericals involved here in my next session. So I hope you have gone through the video very carefully. So try to understand, children, and always the video go from beginning to the end. Never skip the video. So thank you very much, children. Have a good day.